What's up, guys? This is D, and I know you guys haven't heard from me in a while. I've been busy with work and everything. So let me just go ahead and get to the point of what this video is about. And it's going to be a slightly long one, so bear with me here. As you realize and notice, since Tuesday, December 10th, which today, by the way, is the 13th now, Friday the 13th. But anyway, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard from many sources, including Destructoid, Kotaku, and other social media, about the big YouTube content ID sweep that is hit globally. Does not matter if it was affiliated networks or just regular everyday YouTuber. Everyone's got hit. And I am not excluded from that list. I also got hit. As of today, I have a total of 53 third-party claims on my account, even though my account says good standing. Now, let me explain a little something. I have been on YouTube since July of 2006. And back then, I was just a regular YouTuber like anybody else. Then I saw an opportunity that they themselves posted up stating that you can become a director if you fill out an application, which was reviewed by real people at the time. This was before Google really got involved with YouTube and screwed everything up. And this was somewhat before the Viacom incident. I'm not even sure if people remember that happening and going on. But anyway, it took me 3 attempts before I can fill out and successfully pass the director's account program. And it was given to me to allow me to bypass the 10-minute limit. I would get so many messages as to, oh man, why in the world can't I upload more than 10 minutes like you? What do I have to do that? And I explained to people what you have to do, but they killed it off in March of 2007. So since then, I've been able to upload longer than 10 minutes, really as long as I want, which prompted me to start working on my Mugen-based series, City Lights. Now, the reason why I'm explaining all of this is because long before I became a partner this year, years prior, before all of this, I was doing my own series with the Mugen engine and fighting characters. Now, granted, more than 60% of the music that I use in my series, Team DV and City Lights, most of it was video game music. And at the time, there were no penalties as far as video game music was being used, because it's not like I was uploading entire whole OSTs or tracks or anything. I was physically using my clips. And at the time, I also used royalty-free music. Some of the music I had was actually royalty-free. And it was from a catalog that I purchased. And this was before my laptop was stolen a few years ago. So I was making my videos based on the music that I would use, make my own stories, and do my own fights and all that. But it was the fact that I was using video game music, and at the time it wasn't that big of a deal. And since I became a partner, I didn't really have any content ID strikes that I know of, because I've always checked my copyright pages and everything was in the clear. Well, truth be told, come Tuesday that just passed, December 10th, that was all thrown completely out of the window, for the simple and sole fact that my account was slapped with 53, yes, 53 content ID claims from third parties. And again, the majority of it was video game music, with a percentage of it also being royalty-free music being used as well. With one of those being visual representations from Konami, which happened to be from one of the streams I did from Twitch and exporting it to YouTube. So now that the content ID system's algorithm is more aggressive, it makes exporting anything from Twitch to YouTube completely pointless now. Because you know me. People who know my channel, they know I do old school stuff. I love doing old school games. But some of my biggest memories were from Konami. And if I get flagged for something like that, then it kind of makes it all pointless. But that's not really what I'm getting at with this. I'm looking at the people who have made this a career for themselves. I'm not knocking on anybody who wants to, but I'm just outright saying that this is all really bad. I mean, I'm looking at guys like Darkside Phil and Francis, and I'm looking at Alpha Omega Sins, and I'm looking at Maximilian, and found out just recently, I just found out that Classic Game Room's leaving YouTube. It basically has left because of the copyright thing that's going on, that's been cracking down around the world. And it doesn't matter if you're a partner or not. Now, granted, you can dispute these because video game companies and publishers like Capcom and Deep Silver and Naughty Dog, they're getting involved with the general populace and saying, hey, we're not the ones that are throwing these copyright claims out. We'll go ahead and work with you if you link us to the video in question, and we'll see what we can do to help you. And at least Deep Silver has came out out the box and said something about it. I mean, even Ubisoft has said something about it. So that's still, even with all that support from video game companies and publishers and developers, that's still gonna make people who are partnered walk on thin ice, and I happen to be one of those. Now, in a way, when I finished off the final episode of City Lights, episode 24, World Revolution, and the 25th episode, which was episode Omega, White Lens Diary, I ended the series at that point. There was nothing left I had to do for the series, and I felt like I've accomplished my goal. In the 7.5 years I have been on YouTube, that is probably one of the most passionate things I have done. Spend 5.5 years to release 24, possibly 25 episodes of a series that I created from up here, from my mind, without having to write anything, using my wild and vivid imagination, using the things that I wanted my mind to be seen on the screen. My own form of content. Yes, I did have to use music from other sources. Yes, I ended up using royalty-free music as well in the process, but it still doesn't change facts. The bot that is going on with the bot that is incorporated with the content ID system, as said by many people, is a little bit, and I'm gonna take that back. It's not a little bit, it's really fucked up. Okay? And I feel for the guys that I mentioned, and I also feel for the other people who have made doing content, their own content, something more than a hobby. See, me personally, it's been a hobby for me because I'm looking at places that say, oh, YouTubers should go ahead and get a real job. Okay, well then what does that say about you? You don't know what's going on the side of what people have to do. I mean, anybody could take a webcam like what I'm doing right now and just make a video. Just record talking of this, that, and the other. But it takes some fucking creativity and some real time to sit there and create, edit, paste, copy, render, Do everything that you need to do to appease the audience that you are aiming for. And that's being taken away. Now, again, I've mentioned Mark from Classic Game Room is leaving, and most likely has left already. I'll probably put up a video link to it, and I'll also put what ReviewTechUSA had to say about it. I'll put both links to those in the video description below. But this copyright thing has really struck a nerve with a number of people. I've seen good friends of mine that have decided to just quit YouTube altogether, just stop completely doing anything video related, because this is jumping in on their creativity. It sucks. It really does. And they're not even partnered, but they also got hit. And I've had one good friend of mine who account was terminated because of too many third-party claims. And the thing about all of this is, it doesn't matter if you're a partner or not. If you try to dispute the claim, it might be false. You run a 50-50 chance of it being false, or the person in question who does own the actual copyright to it might not mind. But for those who do mind, and YouTube has to side with that person that does mind, they're gonna reject it. And if you append or appeal that rejection a second time and it fails, well, that's a copyright strike on your channel. And 3 strikes and you're done. Your channel is fried. It's toast. It's gone. The ban hammer will be laid down on your channel if you do that. That's not a risk I want to take. And it's kind of funny and fucked up in the same sense, because a friend of mine had found one of the games that was, found a copy of one of the games that was stolen from me along with my laptop a few years ago, and he wanted me to, he wanted me to not only review the game, but do my own personal run of the game, like the multiplayer part of it. Even though the servers are not up anymore, playing against the bots was the challenge back then. And it happened to be this game right here, Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I remember buying this game. This game was so fucking fun. It's still fun. I can't really play it on this ass PC of mine. But, if I was to try and do anything with this now on YouTube, I most likely would have the video of it flagged to hell and back, solely for the fact that it has musical scores from Star Wars in here. And this is more of a first-person shooter, which also has spaceflight, and you can also go third-person with Jedis and whatnot. So it's multi-purpose for this game. It's multi-purpose. But even with the low specs that this game require, this computer is so ass it can't really run it. This computer is just not as good as my laptop. So if I do this, I'm most likely gonna have to put it on Twitch. But even with putting it on Twitch, I'm not gonna export any clips of it to YouTube, because I don't want to be hit with any copyright notices or third-party content ID claims, because as Disney bought the rights to LucasArts and all that. So I probably would get slapped with third-party notices from Disney or something like that. Who knows? But I'm not taking that risk. And I don't think many more people want to take that risk. I mean, it's a sad day when one of the first guys who possibly got put up for the partnership program ended up leaving because of the way things are going now. And truth be told, I personally blame the people who want to upload full-blown movies to YouTube. Full-blown audio OSTs, not video game OSTs, even though now they're being hit up and flagged out the ass. But I'm just saying, it's there's a lot of blame going around for this. And it kind of sucks because I feel that it had a lot to do with the way that they changed the system after they disabled the ability to apply for a director's account by way of, filling out an actual application. I really wish I had a copy of that application now so I can show it to you guys to what it looked like. You had to physically not only fill out your application with your name and everything, yes, your real name and YouTube username, but you also had to state why you wanted the director's account. And my personal reason, which was a very legitimate reason up until I finished City Lights, was that I wanted to use my account as a way of creating my own content because I have an idea for a series that I want to start. It took 3 attempts and they finally got through to the guys at YouTube and they switched my account to a director's account. And in March of 2007, they made the director's account a free choice, but it still did not give people the ability to go beyond 10 minutes. It wasn't until a few years later where people were actually able to hit the 15-minute mark. And now that YouTube has blown up because of Google, people can go as long as they want to now, as far as I know. But getting back to all of this, again, as a person who actually does create videos, even though I don't have as much time as I used to, because as of this month I celebrated my 10th year of loyal service at my job, and that's without missing days from work, and that's without ever calling in sick. I spent every day working at my real job, and seeing that what YouTube has become now when it comes to someone like me who's been around for 7.5 years, have barely over I'm near the point of having 2,250 subscribers. I have over 2 million channel views. That's not even a blip on some of these big guys' radars, like PewDiePie or Ray William Johnson or ReviewTechUSA. Well, PewDiePie, Ray William Johnson, and the other guys out there. That's not even a blip on their fucking radar. These guys have... I'm just small stacks compared to these guys. But I made a name for myself because of the content that I pushed out. And that's the biggest thing these guys that are running YouTube have forgotten. Without us, the people who are creating the content, the people who are giving free advertising to the people whose content they like, without the big guys having to pay for any of the content, pay to do any of this themselves, well, it just... I really don't know what else to say here. It's something tough to swallow. I will say that. Now, you're asking yourself, what will I do? You're thinking about what am I going to do? Does this make me upset? A little bit. Will it make me quit YouTube? No. This is basically where I got my start at. This is pretty much right where I got my start at. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm going to stick around YouTube for a good long time. I'm just going to have to watch what I upload from here on out. That means I cannot do the same thing I have been doing from the time I became a director up until now. That is over. That is done. And I'm positive from what I'm hearing that there are going to be different changes coming to YouTube in January, which is going to make it even harder for people to pump out the content that others love, that others want to see, that gives the enjoyment and the satisfaction that comes from watching something that you like, whether it's something that someone made funny, a series, an event, a meme, anything. It's just going to be difficult. Now, that just goes without saying that they're forgetting one thing. Without us, there is no YouTube. Without the vivid imaginations of this generation, who have an understanding of what it takes to make some seriously good content, for those who decided to make a living for themselves, for those like me who decided to take this up as a hobby, as just something on the side to do aside from having a real job, for those who just want to have the entertainment basis, the fun factor, just wanting to do it for reasons, just because, it's all being taken away. It may not be taken away for a long time. Who knows? It may not be as bad as people think once this thing dies down, but who knows what's going to really happen in January. The bottom line is this. YouTube has released the Kraken on the world, and the Kraken was loaded with hammers, third-party hammers, and they were nailing everybody on the forehead. Big guys, little guys, people who are partnered, people who are not partnered. Even other partnerships have been hit hard. If you think I'm joking, just go take a look at places like Kotaku, Destructoid, IGN, Game Informer. Other places that are talking about this thing right now, days after it already happened, and more stuff is flooding in from people who care. I'm one of those people who care. You may not care about the things I do, but I certainly care about the people who actually love to do these things. I'm one of those people. And just like anybody else now, nobody is safe. Everybody, does not matter if you're partnered or not, have to watch themselves. I hate to see more people leave, and I hate to see more accounts get terminated because of this idiotic, dumb-ass content ID system with an updated algorithm that shouldn't be put into effect in the first place. It's like we're all being treated like criminals. Doesn't matter if it's something you bought yourself, if it's royalty free or anything. We're all being treated under the same class. I guess that saying is true. The good eventually does have to suffer for the bad. I guess it's a true thing now because it's only going to get worse from here on out.